Hello there! Today we're excited to walk you through a new update that pertains to time tracking within the work order. This enhancement has been made to better suit our users' needs. This update introduces a new feature where the type of time tracking is distinctly defined directly within the work order itself. We've crafted a dedicated timesheet that allows for manual entry. This manual entry option is incorporated within the work operation. So, when we discuss time tracking, we're referring to the time associated with the work operation. Here, you can manually input the time spent. This manual input is used to record the time spent within the work order itself, providing a basis for estimating expenses and planning costs. Using our timesheet, we have defined the manual entry process, allowing you to log expenses exactly as they occur. With manual entry, we log expenses without precisely detailing who worked on which task, when they started or finished, or the duration. It's simply entered as it occurs. We focus on recording the actual time spent. This method doesn't specify details like start or end times. Instead, it's about capturing the actual duration. If we use this method, we can define costs based on actual hours worked and the cost per hour for each work operation. By focusing on actual costs, it allows us to accurately account for the time and financial resources spent on completing tasks. Moreover, if this method doesn't suit your needs, there's another option: using the actual planned time for recording purposes. Choosing the actual planned time method makes the process read-only, reflecting the planned versus executed approach. These methods allow businesses to tailor the work order process, depending on the organizational needs or structure. Whether through timesheets or time tracking, businesses have the flexibility to define operations according to their specific needs. Using the timesheet option can be a bit complex, so we'll guide you through this process now. When setting up a work order, using timesheets and time tracking allows for a structured approach to assigning tasks. You can allocate tasks to each worker based on the timesheet setup, ensuring everyone knows their assignments. Once tasks are organized according to the timesheet, you'll notice the status reflecting ready for assignment. Initially, tasks are predicted, meaning they're outlined without specific assignments to workers or exact durations. To assign tasks, use the timesheet feature to open a subdocument, which helps in designating specific workers to tasks. This feature allows you to specify which worker will handle each task, making it easy to manage assignments. If a task requires multiple workers, it can be divided accordingly. Simply remove entries from the list to adjust. In our example, we've assigned Nikola Tesla to a particular operation, demonstrating how assignments can be managed. There are options to also include machine or tool assignments, but we'll cover that aspect in a separate video. For now, our focus is on worker assignment. We've demonstrated a predefined stop function for clarity. We've assigned a specific task to one worker within this work order, and the status reflects this assignment. The timesheet shows tasks that are assigned or unassigned within the work order, allowing for easy management. If additional workers need assignments, the system shows partial assignments, enabling further task distribution. For instance, assigning Thomas Edison to a task updates the status to assigned, showcasing assignment flexibility. The work order now features a new column for the time track status, depending on the task's specifics. Creating a new bill of materials involves defining manual entries, which updates the status to manual entry. This status is adjustable since we've integrated this element into the process. Deleting timesheets reflects as partial assignments. Redefining and creating a new within the work order updates statuses as needed, facilitating smooth operations. Interestingly, separate work orders can be added, with operations not required to be in the same format. We've developed a distinct form called Work Operation Assignment, accessible from the menu. This form lets you see and select work orders for bulk actions, defining timesheets efficiently. We can assign these bulk actions to Thomas Edison, for example, with status updates reflecting the assignment. There are two ways to make assignments: directly from the work order or through the work order assignment form. These methods offer flexibility, and we'll explain later how this aligns with defining the scope of work operations. Assigning tasks to workers allows for better organization and management of the work processes. Within the timesheet, we have the ability to edit time entries, enhancing tracking accuracy. Manual time entry is possible, such as entering work hours from 5 p.m. to 2 p.m. with operations marked accordingly. If operations span multiple days, splitting tasks is an option, allowing for detailed time entry adjustments. For example, changing the start time from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. with an additional 45 minutes can be logged. This level of detail is useful for editing time entries or making corrections within a work order. We've demonstrated how to navigate these features within the work order to maintain accurate records. It's interesting, this assigned work operation is assigned within the timesheet. We've added additional features to the timesheet, allowing for the inclusion of documents, notes, custom fields, and other elements, as you might say, in that section. We have extracted that document as a sub-document within this. Similarly, within this section, we can view the relevant columns. For example, we can show within seconds, and we have this part concerning the stopwatch. Once activated, it effortlessly tracks time within the timesheet concerning this operation. Now, we've activated this operation for Nikola Tesla, and within this context, we have another view, not just from this work order. There's a specific view in manufacturing, where we see timesheets that are open or assigned to me, as you can filter them for yourself or any other employee. What we see here is the active stopwatch, which is activated, logging time within this networked time frame with the stopwatch. Entering the worksheet, I see a direct list, and here within the worksheet, I can see that the time is being logged. Time is being measured. Similarly, if we activate someone else here, the active time, the time when it started, is displayed. As they say, we'll pause here, and based on that, we'll have what is called a time-filling list. We can start. What's interesting here is the situation where this is a pause. This work operation within this work timesheet, we'll simply put it on pause. If we need to continue, I would proceed, and it creates a new row with the new date and time when the time logging started. Or I can edit and simply state here that an additional hour and 45 minutes were worked. As they say, when the whole list is green or partially green, we have the option to complete. This confirms that this timesheet for the worker is finished. It's completed. If any adjustments are needed, we have the option to complete those as well. Now, it's simply removed. It no longer exists in this list. Within manufacturing, if I enter that work order, we see a partial complete time track. In this status, we see the timesheet as active. It's visible that time is being measured, which is why it's green, to be recognized, but this timesheet is completed. For completed work operations, we see changes in the icon, simply indicating that the work timesheet is completed, as they would say. Based on this, we can edit, modify, correct, and work within this concerning this aspect. What's interesting is if we have more, for instance, we'll define another, create another work order. In this specific case, we're doing the same. If we add it within Thomas Edison and set it here and then attempt to start, it will tell me it can't be activated because a timesheet already exists that tracks time within our list. Now, let's look at the section, Timesheet. We see that the time is still current. What's also interesting is that this is implemented in our mobile app. Since I'm recording this video via desktop, I'll enter the emulator where, within this emulator, just a moment, in the mobile inventory app, we see we have the timesheet related to this. Since I defined myself as Nikola Tesla, I don't have elements for myself, so I'll create a new work order within, based on real material. We'll simply set such a timesheet, a time tracker timesheet, and in the mobile application, it's assigned to me. Assigned to me implies that I can define which work operations are open. I can assign these operations to myself. Assigned to me, and they are simply assigned as a designation in my mobile application. Here I see the timesheet that is available, and I'll simply start it. Now, of course, work operations don't have to be started in the order defined. It may or may not be possible depending on the specifics of the business itself, so this mobile app simply blinks to indicate that my time tracking is active and that I can define my time measurements. I can pause or start a new time. Well, here we are just doing a few seconds to prevent you from waiting. All right, so here's the deal. We don't have any measurements yet. I might not even measure them, and maybe I won't be the one to finish them. Someone else could come in and wrap it up. All I need to do is hit complete or force complete, and that's it for me. If by chance I completed it accidentally, I have the option to undo right here. But I won't be doing that now. It's just handy in case of a mistake. Now, moving on to mobile applications, let's take a closer look. Heading over to the timesheet, I can see that it's still active for Thomas Edison. As for me, Nikola Tesla, I haven't defined my role in it yet. What's interesting here is the work order assignment. These work orders have appeared on this list, ready for sharing or activating dependencies. If I have multiple items, say a work order that's been defined, I'll go ahead and create another work order with a quantity of 2, making sure the priority is set to high. This high priority doesn't just apply to loading or booking materials. It also applies to the work order assignment. Let's say I decide to start a particular work order. I can create a new timesheet for myself, Nikola Tesla, because I've now defined myself. Within mobile applications, if defined similarly, we'll notice that high-priority work orders are always front and center. Speaking of sharing, it's clear that priority is high. In the upcoming video, we'll dive into working with machine and tool options and how to define the scope for machine or work operations. But that's a topic for the next session. Enjoy.